Welcome to the Green Hill Gamer Guild podcast. I'm your host and GM, Joshua. We are an actual play podcast focusing on character-driven narrative and humorous interactions between friends. We love telling stories through tabletop gaming and hope you enjoy our stories too.
My name is Kollin, and my character's name is Hawk.
Hi, my name is Mel, and my character's name is Jax.
My name's Adam. My character name is Russ Baker, or Wheels.
I'm Chris Valentine, a.k.a. Memo Morales, a.k.a. Deke, a.k.a. the Latin lover gangster.
Yeah, I kind of buried the lead on that one. It's okay. Because if you were going for recapping Moros, that'd be the one I would go with, but
I was gonna go with something else. I wanted to do like a Robin type character.
Okay. So the protege?
Yeah.
that's cool for me. In fact, that sets up a nice dynamic with the Innocent.
Or the protege of Pat Manuel? Well, you don't remember Pat Manuel?
No.
Oh, but did you ever watch the Tick live action?
Oh, no.
Then that's why you don't know Pat Manuel.
Yeah. I think I might have seen the Tick, but I would have been so much younger.
Yeah. No, you should go back and watch it. I mean, it's like on 3 different streaming services.
It's like a new one now.
Well, yeah, on Amazon.
Yeah.
Peter Serafinowicz is not quite as endearing as Patrick Warburton, but...
Okay, so, getting into the things. Masks is a superhero game where you guys play young adult heroes. I'm going to just run through some stuff I have marked on my sheets that I want to make sure you guys know before we start. But you guys can feel free to start filling in your characters on your playbooks however you want. So, you're playing in Halcyon City. For the most part, it's just going to be called the City, or Hero City is what some people call it. There have been 3 full generations of superheroes, supervillains, and superpowered calamities before the current game, stretching back into the earlier parts of the 20th century. You guys are members of what's being called the 4th generation. There was a small blip in between the 3rd and the 4th that I'll talk about a little later. That's going to be unique to our game. It might fit in well with what you guys have going on with your playbooks. The rest of the generations are largely still active and interested in the future of Halcyon City. Obviously, the very, very first Golden Era heroes probably aren't doing much. If
they're in the nursing home.
Exactly. They're in the superpowered nursing homes.
Back in my day, you didn't have these newfound gadgets.
So, the city's pretty used to all kinds of insanity, from dinosaurs rampaging down the streets, to dark wizards transforming sections of the city into castles, to parallel dimensions appearing in the sky, to aliens invading. It doesn't mean that things aren't still amazing and surprising, but they happen and they're a fact of life in the city. Halcyon rolls on, even after something that seems like it should change absolutely everything about the city. The city is considered the greatest city in the world, huge and full of nearly anything you could expect to find in any city anywhere. Monuments, museums, corporations, slums, dark alleys, subways, whatever. Huge districts encompass many different populations and neighborhoods throughout the city, and the people living here represent diverse populations. So, for your characters, all the characters are residents of Halcyon City. You may not have lived here for long, or your whole lives, or whatever. In some cases you might be, well, none of you are, but some cases you might be an alien that just got here, but you've been here long enough that you consider it your home. That means you know about the long tradition of superheroes and villains, you know about the craziness that happens on the city streets, you know that you're part of that world. Everyone can name at least a few heroes and villains, and I'll get into some of them that I'm planning on using throughout the game a little later. And everybody can remember at least one incident of seeing a superhero or supernatural event in person, firsthand. This isn't happening for the first time. Super stuff is not brand new. It's a fact of life. Okay, so for your team, first of all, these are the very important things that you guys need to take into account when you're crafting your characters' personalities and how they interact. First of all, you all choose to be here. You might be pressured to be on the team, you might feel guilt and be a part of the team to absolve it, you might audibly wish you weren't on the team while secretly loving it, but ultimately it's always your choice to be part of the team. That's why the team won't fracture in a heartbeat. One way or another, you want to be here for whatever reason fits your character. Decide what that is, whether it's I think I can save all these people from themselves. I think I'm better than all of them, so I need them to know how to become as good as I am. I think these people are the best bet to stopping my future self. I think these people are freaking crazy and fun, and that's the only reason I'm there. Whatever it is for your character, you choose to be here. Second thing is, you are not killers. You're a fairly young team. You may have made some mistakes, blown some stuff up. Your actions might have led to deaths, but you aren't killers. You don't solve problems by killing those on the other side as if it were of no consequence. If your team is interested in pursuing more drastic measures, you might grapple with the complexities of killing as a solution to difficult problems, but so far your team has not gone down that dark path. As for my timeline edition, in 1992 to 1996, the city of Halcyon City called what is commonly referred to as the Dark Age. This is the blip between the third and the fourth generations. Heroes became increasingly violent, with a number of them resorting to outright murder. This culminated in the death of a person named Aaron Foster. Aaron was the district attorney and was thrown from his 50-story office through the window. He landed on a car with a family inside. The family was injured in the incident, though none of them died. Aaron was most assuredly dead. The anti-hero responsible was called Payback, a vigilante who's still active today. Though Payback alleges that Aaron was the head of a very long snake that dealt in drugs, weapons, and human trafficking, he has failed to produce evidence beyond a few witnesses who have failed to come forward. Those are people he says gave him the info. It has been noted, however, that those particular illicit businesses seemed to dramatically decrease following his action. The public failed to see this as warranted and sought legislation to change the growing hero's status quo of becoming judge, jury, and executioner. Shortly after, Aegis and the Exemplars. Aegis is basically this world's shield. The Exemplars are this world's kind of a mix of X-Men and Avengers kind of rolled into one. They currently have multiple Exemplar teams in the city. One of them is working now with Aegis as to form a joint effort, as they said in the press conference announcing it, to watch the Watchmen. Any activity in Halcyon City that leads to a death due to a superhero is investigated thoroughly, and if the hero is found at fault, they are dealt with. Though the punishments were initially very harsh, resulting in several well-known vigilantes being put in prison and a few exiled to other dimensions, the punishments now are a bit more even-handed and fit the crimes more appropriately. You are not illegal or openly hunted yet. Your team might technically be illegal, depending on the specifics of how superhuman teams are treated in our version of Halcyon City, which we will determine that later. But even if you aren't hunted by the authorities as of the moment we start. Adults are more than likely making overtures to your team, offering to sanction you, guide you, provide you with whatever legal support you need. Whatever actions you take over the course of play may lead you to a place where you're actively pursued or captured, but that's not the case at the start of play. Just as you aren't hated, you aren't beloved. You might be more or less well-liked, more or less doubted, but either way, your team hasn't been around long enough for the public to truly develop any kind of abiding interest in and fondness for your team yet. If you are loved, it's the love of celebrity, temporary, and easily turned to hate. Now, you have labels on your sheets. This game works differently than most superhero games. There's no damage, there's no physical anything really that's tracked. It will come up in the fiction and will determine based on your particular suite of superpowers or training or whatever how damage affects you, how getting punched by such and such person with such and such level of strength actually harms you. But your everything else is basically about emotions. So the conditions you take are emotional conditions, and your labels are how people view you and you view yourself. Your labels will switch constantly. That's part of the point of playing this. There are places in the fiction where you will be able to lock your label at the level it is currently at. One of those things is listed on your front page as your moment of truth. Typically, when you activate your moment of truth, you lock a label of your choice at the end of that. So you'll want to make sure when you activate your moment of truth that the label that you want to lock is at the level you want it to be at, because otherwise you might kind of screw yourself out of seeing what you want your character to become. The labels are danger, which is seeing yourself as threatening, strong, bloody-knuckled, and risky. Other people see you as a danger when they think they should steer clear of you because you might bring them harm. You see yourself as a danger when you believe you can take down other dangerous threats and when you think you yourself are a threat to other people. Freak, seeing yourself as strange, unusual, unique, and powerful. Other people see you as freak when they think you're odd, unlike them, something unnatural, or outside of their understanding. You see yourself as a freak when you accept and own the things you can do that no one else can, and when you think you don't belong with the people in the world around you. Savior, seeing yourself as defending, guarding, protecting, and stalwart. Other people see you as a savior when they think of you as noble or self-sacrificing or a bit overbearing and moralizing. You see yourself as a savior when you think of yourself as a martyr, someone who gladly sacrifices to protect and defend others. Superior, seeing yourself as smart, capable, crafty, and quick. Other people see you as superior when they think that you're the smartest person in the room or an arrogant and egotistical jerk. You see yourself as superior when you think you're cleverer than everyone else and when you know exactly what to say to make the people around you do what you want. Mundane, seeing yourself as normal, human, empathetic, and understanding. Other people see you as mundane when they think of you as all too normal and uninteresting, but also comprehending and sympathetic. You see yourself as mundane when you think you're regular, just a person, not special, and focused on normal human things like feelings and emotions. Now, if you look at your move list on the second page, you'll see a lot of them relate to your labels, and that's the label you use. So it's a bit like in Apocalypse World, you had cool, hard, hot, those things. Your labels are those things in this game. The big difference is your labels shift all the time. Other people can make them shift. You yourself can shift them. There are times where you can resist shifting, and there are times where you cannot. So don't be too tied to them. Don't ever mark them in pen. Mark them in pencil. The only time we're going to bring out a pen with your labels is if you're locking one. If a label would shift up past +3 or down past -2, then no shift at all occurs. Neither of the two labels that would change goes up or down. Instead, you're going to mark a condition, a negative emotional state that starts affecting your actions. If you see yourself as too much of an extreme, it starts to mess you up. And that's it for my running through. So on your playbook, you have your moment of truth. You'll have team moves. Team moves are things that you have to share with teammates, typically. You can also share them with people who aren't teammates, but they have to be someone important to you in that case. Potential is your experience track. Every time you roll a miss on anything, you mark potential. When you get to 5, you erase it. You erase all your marks, and you get an advancement. Your advancements above the line you can take starting right away. When you get to the top of your potential, you get an advancement. The ones under the line you can only take after you've gotten 5 of the ones above it. Where it says other moves, basically if you take a move from another playbook, write the move's name down there, and then we'll talk about getting you the move from the playbook. If it's a playbook somebody else here already has, then I'll print another one or something, and we'll figure out how to get it to you. Some of the things that you take from your advancement tracks may not unlock right away. I prefer to have it come up in the fiction at some point, so we'll figure that out. Just kind of let me know what you want to mark so that I know what you're coming up to so I can kind of guide things in that direction a little bit. For your look, I'd prefer you pick what is on the playbook to start with. If it doesn't match your idea in your own head of what your character looks like, that's fine, we'll get there. But since you're just starting out, pick those, and we'll move you in that direction. And then your abilities are a little different in this game than other games. You may not have the broadest individual abilities that you did with the other game we were playing, but these abilities work with the playbook you've picked. If you have an idea of something you want that's not on the ability list, let me know, and we can kind of puzzle out whether or not we think it would be a good fit for the character you've picked. It kind of looks like we have mostly street level heroes here, which is fine with me. We can work with that.
I'm from the streets, yo. Wait, you were born on the Upper West Side.
So your labels on the other sheet, I already told you about those. The ones that are in the white, they're already, that's where your particular playbook starts. You can add +1 to any of those that you want to start with, and just circle the one where it's at in pencil. And again, don't push too hard because you're going to want to erase a lot. Conditions. If you have to mark a condition, sometimes you'll choose which one to mark. Sometimes it'll be chosen for you. In addition to marking the condition, you take a -2 to whatever moves it says. Backstory, answer those questions as you make your character. That's part of what we'll be sharing as a group. So whatever questions are on here, make sure you mark them, the playbook. The separate sheet I gave you is for me, so feel free, if something doesn't apply, just put NA next to it on my sheet. That's fine. You can't do that with the playbook. They'll have to answer those questions. The when our team first came together thing, we'll figure out as a group once you guys are at that point. So start filling everything out. That'll be the last thing we do pretty much. Relationships, you can even figure that out before the team first came together thing if you want. And then influence, make sure you hand one of your playing cards to the people who have influence over you. That is something that can be gained and lost in play. There are rules if you already have influence and something would happen where you get it again. There's usually an extra thing that happens. You have your clubs. Yeah. And then your moves are listed there. In addition to those moves, you get all the basic moves that are on the sheet I gave you that's got the basic moves listed. And I'll run through what those are when we're at that point. And then every playbook has a small section after the moves that is unique to that playbook. So it'll have something for you to fill out, question to answer, or something along those lines. Do you have your name yet? Either one.
I do.
Green, red, black, blue. Do you have your real name yet?
Mm-hmm.
Write it on there. You can do it on the side that faces me. If you're afraid you're going to forget your own name, you can put it on the side that faces you as well. Could happen.
All right, now you said if you go past the point of improvement on there on the labels,
yeah.
Then if you keep on trying to go past it, then you have to take like a negative.
Correct.
So if I marked it from 3 to begin with, that would be setting myself up for like personality, narcissism disorder, something like that, or
it's not necessarily. It's not a permanent thing. Mm-hmm. Conditions are just emotions you're currently feeling. Basically, the idea is once you mark all your conditions in a fight or an intense situation, if you were to mark one more and you don't have one available to mark, you have to get your character out of that situation. So whatever that means in the fiction, you faint, you get knocked out, you run away, you hide, whatever it is, you get yourself out of the situation and you're not allowed to come back in until it's been resolved. There are ways to clear conditions too. Each condition has its own way it can be cleared, and you can have them cleared from being comforted or supported by someone else. It can be, typically you want it to be a teammate. It can also be someone who's important in your life. For example, the protege as a mentor. If the mentor wanted to support or comfort the protege, that is something that could happen. I don't roll dice though, so basically the entire thing would be determined as if I rolled a 10 and we would have to decide what you wanted this character to do based on what that would get. Adults always have influence over you guys until you get rid of it. For what?
The names are called.
Hero name?
Yeah. I had one floating across my head and I lost it.
What's your powers?
Well, being what I am, just being beacony enough.
I already decided I will let the beacon have influence over me, the delinquent. Perfect opposite numbers kind of thing.
Okay.
Just going to pass that over to her.
Yeah, she's a girl this time. Yeah.
There you go.
I have to keep working that out.
I would be fine.
Poor Deedles was,
Yeah, he was
conflicted.
Yeah, gender conflicted.
A little bit.
Wheels.
I like that. Okay.
What's
Wheels?
What's your grown-up characters? The one you're trying to prevent? Same name?
Oh, well,
Or do you want it to be different?
I'll give them something different.
Okay.
Skidmark.
Skidmark.
Jax. Jasper Johnson. Okay.
I'll just go with Roman Jasper.
It is a gemstone.
I know. That's two. Jasper, where? That might be it. Could be when antique was learning. A lot of Jasper were out there.
Oh.
Could have been. Subliminally.
Mm-hmm.
At least they didn't name you Bloodstone.
That's right. Well, it sounds all sword and sorcery kind of thing. Different kind of. You say school, just level of school or the actual name of our school?
The name.
Oh, okay.
The name of the school. And if you all want to be in the same school together, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Let's go to the same school.
You want to go to the same school?
Yeah,
Let's
what
go to the
school
same
are you
school.
guys going to?
You guys want to name the school? What level of school are you in?
I'm a senior. Starting.
Oh, 17?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's see.
How old did you make your character?
17.
17?
16.
Okay.
15.
That's cool.
Miller Fillmore High School.
I'm
You're one
fine
of our
with,
best presidents.
I'm fine with whatever.
No. This is not a
Actually-
real world, so. It is kind
I was thinking maybe a certain famous artist, Pablo Picasso, advanced or technical. Picasso, I don't know.
Van Gogh.
TS 387,000.
Doesn't even get a name. It's a school
Public school.
in New
So
York.
back east, yeah.
The placard over it is a barcode. The number is too large. We had to use a barcode.
Francisco de Goya Technical.
Andy Warhol. Comfort.
Oh gosh, the Warhol School for Troubled Children.
That actually would make sense.
Yeah, it was.
Let's go with that.
Or the Salvador Dali. Let's go for Joe.
Okay, who votes for Dolly? Who votes for Warhol?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright. The Warhol School for Troubled Children.
So it makes sense why you're there. Or would the rest of you be there?
He left his parents behind in the past,
Okay. So he's homeless?
basically.
Okay.
Or
Where's he living?
with
Did he find the future then?
He found his future brothers and sisters, yeah,
Okay.
from his parents. So he's staying with people aged as his future self.
Okay.
Like his future self's brother and sisters.
What age is that? And I have no preference, so it's whatever you
Okay.
want.
So he time traveled. This is like we're in the year.
2009.
So they're like
It can be 2000.
20XX.
It can be
like-
2017. It can be 2018. It can be 2034. I don't really care.
they're like 70 years old.
That can be fine if that's what you want. Just remember that your villain self is very capable. So if he's 70, he's a young 70.
He was young 70.
However that susses out in the fiction.
Okay.
It's like Doc Brown in the second Back to the Future. It's like age rejuvenation.
Yeah. Doesn't even affect him. Find enough futuristic plants.
So he's living with his 70-something-year-old brother, sister.
Yeah.
If you have names, write them down.
Okay.
Because I'll need them. They are considered adults, so they will have influence over you to start with. Even though they're your brother. Marshall. So, what's the name of your mentor?
I'm not sure. I didn't know if there's, like, background with this to go with it.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to pick some of the stuff for your mentor anyway. So, I'm going to let you pretty much do whatever you want. Your mentor could be Darkhawk, it could be Bird of Prey, Raptor, Condor, male or female. Do you have any idea?
For my character?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Your character's male. What about your mentor?
Oh, no.
None of that funny stuff, you two. You did say Batman and Robin, after all.
Ambiguously gay duo.
What do you think of this picture of Mark Wahlberg? It looks kind of tacky. Yeah, tacky.
Does it give you powers?
Yeah, down here in the abilities section, it gives you a choose two.
Okay. So you pick one of those. One that I think you uniquely have, and then one you share.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm learning about powers if these are the ones I can pick from.
Yeah, they want you to pick from those. And then you'll have a shared ability. You'll have an ability that's uniquely yours. I'll have an ability that's uniquely theirs. So we have one of the extended playbooks, which is good. The rules say you can have more than one of these. Those are playbooks that are special from a supplement that I got. The Innocent, the Reform, the Star, the Newborn, and all the other ones. And it basically was like, if you have more than one of these playbooks, be aware that you're going to be playing a very different game of Masks. So I was fine with it. I just was going to let you pick whatever the heck you wanted anyway.
Different plays altogether?
Well, just because the focus is a little different, which is fine. It means that your future self is going to be actively in the fiction. We're going to say that.
Going to be hanging around a little bit.
Well, he's going to be a presence. Whether the presence is something that is felt through other people or is felt directly through him is going to depend on how the fiction starts to work. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Deke. Like in hockey, because you pull a deke, and that's a misdirect. Deke. So you wouldn't think that him being Latino, you'd be like, oh, he's probably into soccer. Like, nope, he's hockey.
Canadian.
Surprisingly, there are not a lot of Latinos in Canada. When I went there, I did not see a single, ethnic restaurant of, a south of the border style. There was like Portuguese restaurants and everything, but did not see, at least in Toronto, not one Mexican or any kind of, similarly themed restaurant.
Because Portuguese somewhat makes sense.
I mean, it's European.
Yeah.
But Spanish tapas are European too.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of those, so. No, but they do have a very large Chinatown and Little Tokyo. They had one of those too.
In Toronto?
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, everyone was just very polite there. Just have to say.
The only notes I have about the city itself, downtown I want it to be a bit like Metropolis, but with lots of sky bridges that connect the skyscrapers. And Old Town is what the more Gotham. It has a blend of Art Deco and Gothic architecture.
Where's everyone live in the city exactly? Because I wrote that my parents are actually upper middle class, so they probably wouldn't live in the downtown, but they wouldn't live in the Art Deco unless they were in the really renovated ones. The gentrification of that part of the house.
So is there? I mean, where do you want to live? Do you want to live suburbs or?
I mean, it would make sense for his rebellion streak to come from the suburbs, that he sees that life and I don't want anything to do with this.
Does a suburb have a name?
Marksdale.
I can write in pen. You guys can. Does anybody else live in Marksdale?
Not unless Marksdale has a trailer park. That's where we live. Near the train station.
What's the name of the trailer park?
Pricing completely inappropriate, like
Springdale Pines.
Yeah, really not a tree in sight. I like that.
Alright, I'm going to say that you probably get taken to school.
Yeah, by my
I'm
parents.
thinking the school is probably actually in the city.
We'll go Piney Brook Training Park.
Piney Brook?
There are no pines in there. It's no brook.
Does Brook have an E on the end?
No.
It's not that one.
Not that she no.
Yeah. Also, his parents were not very creative in their naming. His sister's name is Marisol, and his younger brother's name is Michelangelo, which means all of his, brothers and sisters, they're both MM. It's like, God, Mom and Dad, could you have done something else?
I don't know what letter they liked and stuck with it.
Well, that's what happened with my dad and his brothers.
They're all the same first name.
Well, they have the same Lambert, yeah. Keith, Ken, Kevin. It's like, you didn't want to just look, no, that's good enough. Makes it easier when you have to label their underwear. You just give it from one to the other. It's like, they don't know the difference. It's got your initials on already.
We got you this new underwear. It looks stretched. It's fine.
It's pre-stretched. It comes that way from the factory. For comfort.
Where's Marshall live?
Oh, with his mentor.
Where's that?
It's so weird doing this without maps and everything. Like, I just want to like pick a place. And, yeah, I guess somewhere upscale.
I mean, ask and I shall deliver, but they're not the kind of maps you're probably thinking. I don't actually have names for the segments yet. Oh yeah, there was one playbook I did not include, and there was a very specific reason for that, but I can show you what it is. I did print it just in case somebody wanted to take a play move or a move from it, but it's called the Joined, and the reason is 4 is the minimum number of people they recommend you have for this playbook, but I didn't really want to go this route because basically the Joined is 2 people have to agree. Yes, one of you is playing the Joined, and you are the other half of the Joined. And it's like, you made everything from the Joined is basically taken from the other playbook. Yeah. It's kind of like the whole Scarlet Witch Quicksilver and those other like people.
Without the creepiness of the relationship.
Yeah. But yeah, there's all the... So, downtown?
Yeah, let's go downtown.
Let's see, you want river, parks? You care?
Let's say he's got like a penthouse in like the business district or something.
Okay, that's not business, but that's... I'll pull out 3 of these and I'll let you decide which neighborhood he's in. These do not link up in any way, shape, or form. So I don't want you to think that they do. They eventually will, as we like pull things out and make marks on them. They'll eventually start forming a map, but I don't really want the city to exist as a map yet, especially since it's gigantic. Okay. Like, think New York, but bigger, with more convoluted areas and more divided regions, and maybe old New York is probably closer.
He's in that one. Big L-shaped building.
Do you have a name for the mentor yet?
Robot Man.
Let's go with Eagle. He's like a slightly bigger bird of prey.
Okay, that's cool. So, does Eagle own the entire building?
Yep.
Just the penthouse? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it called something obvious, like Eagle Tower, or is it...
No.
Okay, do you have a name for the building?
Insky Place.
327 West.
What did you say?
327 West.
Just that? People keep on waiting for you to say more. It's like, no, that's just it.
That's it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and you can call the actual penthouse the Eagle's Nest.
The Airy.
There you go. I did that backwards. I was going to have your character's name be Hawk and the hero name be Marshall.
That'd be awesome.
It's your
Marshall.
name, Hawk. No, what's your real name? It is my real name.
I don't want to be
Your hero name is Marshall. Why?
Why
Like the
not?
U.S. Marshal?
Why not?
Last name?
No. His family abandoned him, so he just dropped it.
Okay. Marshall X.
Yeah.
Nice. Where does Wheels live? Like, location-wise, not?
He lives in Quad Park, which is like an immigration center, kind of like 4 different neighborhoods butted up to each other. I guess like,
I mean,
yeah, so like these 4 are part of the, like this is a hub for one nationality.
Okay.
That was,
what nationalities are they?
Asian, like Irish, English. Have this one, I guess, be Middle Eastern, and then
They're just trying to be inclusive.
I guess the other quad can be like
What's his ethnicity?
he's Asian and white.
Okay. So he's in the
mixed.
Asian area?
Yeah, he is.
Well, is he more like Bruce or Brandon? Because Bruce was actually 1/4 German, if you didn't know.
I do not.
Yeah. Bruce Lee was 1/4 German.
I'll have that like, yeah, Eastern European.
This one?
Yeah. All them poles gotta stay together.
You know it. My brother used to call my family the Polish Mafia because, like, if one of the 9 families, thought that somebody was really great, they would all go buy the same insurance or whatever, like the same agent. But as soon as they got screwed over, it was like they lost 9 customers, like 9 families worth of customers just dropped
Good
them.
to me.
That's awesome. Alright, so, I don't know how you feel about this, but I want each of these to have a statue in the center of it, of not necessarily a big hero, but like a neighborhood hero. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And they don't have to be good statues, but there's statues there.
They may have their noses broken off of them.
Or, just the artist that they paid for wasn't like the creme de la creme of sculpture artists.
Like the woman who did the fresco of Jesus Christ.
Did we have to get a modern sculpture artist?
I mean, we gotta have some of these time traveling gadgets. I mean, just go back and pull out like fucking Raphael. So like he was doing everything every day.
Commissioned the Warhol School.
So,
And it's just a can of soup.
Or he just gives you like a box of Brillo pads.
They're supposed to be sculptures.
okay, so the other thing we have to decide then with this area is, what is this? If these are all neighborhood centers.
These are all like poor neighborhood centers, and then like this is like the cutoff.
So it's like an
rich
above
to poor.
Okay,
Like,
so I'm going to say that
they have a nice statue.
they do, and it's actually a nice statue of a hero that was named Adonis, and the statue is like gold-plated.
Are you sure that's a wise idea in the middle of an immigrant neighborhood? I mean, if they get desperate...
Yeah, that's outside of the...
What are you trying to say about immigrant?
Well, they're short on cash sometimes, and
Alright,
questionably moral at some points.
Yeah, but the people on this side of the road, they've convinced them that the reason that they're poor is because of these other neighborhoods. Alright.
I feel like the trailer park should be close to there too.
You like the trailer park being close to here? Well,
Yeah, on the outside.
What's Jasper's,
It's tiny growth, yeah.
what's Jasper's ethnicity then?
He's white. Mostly white.
Like Irish English white? Or like Eastern European white?
Or maybe a swarthy Mediterranean, Greek.
No, he's pretty white. Yeah, like the UK.
Okay.
Well, Scottish.
Northern Ireland.
Staying close to.
I'm from Iceland.
You're really...
Think he might be a vampire just because he came out that much.
Not that.
Actually, it's not even on the map. It's just off the map this way.
That sounds good. Because trailer park is sort of that's generous. There's only a handful of trailers there. It's not like an organized.
It's like the one that used to be by Bethel College.
Oh yeah? Was there one?
It's like an empty lot now.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
They always seem to be in the weirdest places.
Well, there's that one on Douglas, which just seems like it's just kind of dropped
that's
there.
why, it's just like...
It's kind of like it's there, and they seem to always...
And it's like Lakeshore.
Yeah, where's the lake? What lake? What lake? And so I drive down Douglas and like...
Well, you give it a nice name and people come.
That's
Yeah,
right, well,
it's like
you see Piney
Lakeshore
Brook,
Trailer Park.
people think Piney seems the thing.
Yeah, you don't want to name it Dirt Bowl. I don't think the one comes there.
Has everybody filled their stuff out?
Haven't done the bottom.
Well, we haven't done our first mission. We came together what we did.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just meant your individual stuff. Did you guys fill all that out yet? Up to the influence and the how you came together. That's not. We don't have to do that yet. So what I want you to do is introduce yourselves to everybody else.
Howard. Got some backstory. Fellow friends of Michael's on the batch. Who knows about life as a hero?
And that particular sheet, that's not as important as the playbook. So if you've got your playbook filled out, feel free to just introduce your character to the rest of the players.
This look complete enough?
Yep, you're good. Okay. You start with your main stuff and then move on to your background stuff.
Alright. Yeah, so, Memo Morales. You can just call me Memo for short. I mean, or just Deke. I don't care.
How about Momomo?
No, that's ridiculous. So I'm just like regular old, Latino dude. I mean, I'm pretty fun to be around, as long as you're not an upright prude.
Okay, Momomo.
Yeah, I'm going to not really like you that much, am I? Yeah. don't believe in the whole costume thing. And just, wipe my hand around like someone's face, and they don't really quite remember me, so.
Alright. So, like I said, the hawk got abandoned when he was at a young age. So, to stay alive, he was, stealing things telepathically. And so that's how Eagle, noticed him and took him on. He was like this young kid all alone. I could turn him into somebody great. And so I've pretty much just been living with the Eagle since then. And he's been trying to get me re-socialized since I missed out on a lot of that as a kid. But, yeah. I'm not done yet. Oh,
That's fine.
okay.
Is our
Incubating.
Is our beacon done?
I don't know.
Our beacons. I'm Jasper Johnson, Jax, to my family and one friend. I'll do that. I live with my dad and my younger brother Hugo in Piney Brook, and mom died. So after school, I volunteered at the shelter where we lived briefly after mom died. So, I can be a pretty good acrobat. Not a lot of people know that. I'm sometimes hard to see when I want to be. Just really want to try to help take care of what I've got left, and think I can make a difference. Because that's what being a beacon.
Your history is beacon of sadness.
Yeah, well.
That's fine. Go through your background stuff on the second.
Alright. Well, I mean, I didn't really, have anything to, say about my powers. They just kind of, popped up one day when I was, almost a teenager. And it's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Then I found out, oh, hey, my uncle had similar powers, so I guess it just kind of runs in the family. I like to, just screw around. I mean, I play 3-card Monte on the streets, and I always win because they always never know that I never even have cards in front of me half the time. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Also, just in case you're thinking I'm a complete dick, I like to go to self-help seminars and, make people stop being addicted to shit, Kind of works out sometimes. Yeah. I'm not really here to, do the whole superhero thing permanently. This is just to get my parents off my back. I mean, they're like, oh, you don't want to end up like your uncle, and you need to, have some focus and drive in your life. So I'm really just here to, not have to deal with, adult supervision and using powers at the same time. So, I mean, that's just, win-win for me.
So do your parents support what you're doing?
They're the ones who kind of pushed me into this, and I just kind of went along with it to get them off my back. And like I said, I get to use my powers unsupervised, so that's nice. Also, there's this one store clerk that ran over my dog when I was 10. I rob him every week at the store. Not money rob. I mean, I just go in and I take shit, and he never sees me because I make him not see me. So he's been dealing with shrinkage for about the last 6 years. Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the store?
Oh, it's McAdams Convenience. He never even said he was sorry. I mean, maybe if he had done that, wouldn't have had to, do this to him every week.
You have your backstory stuff for that. Go for it.
Yeah, so like I said, the Eagle caught me using my powers to steal when I was 5, and so I agreed to train with him because it seemed better than living on the streets at the time. And he thought I could be pretty powerful one day, so that's why he wanted to train me. And we pretty much kept to ourselves most of the time. He's taken me out on a couple adventures, and then it's been private school, or not private school, but private tutors and stuff to get me caught back up education-wise. So nobody else really knows about me. And I care about being on the team because it keeps me fed. It was one of the requirements at this point going forward. We're going to start taking me to public school so I can go live have a couple years of a normal childhood because he thinks it's important. So that's what I got to do.
Okay.
I put down that Deke and I teamed up a few times before the rest of us came together. And my mentor is cautious, so if you want to keep an eye on somebody in the group.
Okay. Is that Just a relationship thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What about your influence stuff?
Business, so I don't give any influence out to anybody.
Okay. Keep track of that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've already...
Or he just wrote in, like, me and him are awesome illegal stunts together.
Okay.
So, I'm not a very good influence in most cases.
What about your backstory stuff?
I think my mom was where I got my skills from, such as they are. I mean, I'm not, don't really have superpowers or anything, but I am pretty acrobatic, and when I want to kind of scope out a place or get in somewhere where I might not be welcome, I seem to be able to do it without being noticed, and she told me I would be able to do those things one day. Don't really have a costume yet, but just something that would camouflage and blend in, which I guess is a costume in itself, but just something I can move in. Be cool to have a team costume on. My friend Vivi and Dad and Hugo all know what I can do. Dad doesn't think I should be a superhero, and Dad's dealing with a lot of issues right now since Mom died. But they're a good guy. He's a good guy. And, I mean, I try to be a hero for Dad and Hugo, so they can, when they get out of the trailer park, and Dad goes to work and everything, but he's not happy. So I figure if I try to make things better out in the world and then come home, and maybe they'll start things looking up. And the team's kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of like having other people be responsible for. I don't mind being responsible for other people. Trying to help out with our team.
Okay. Did you get your backstory stuff figured out?
I think so.
Okay.
Alright.
Go through your name and what?
Alright. Russ Baker. His hero name's Fields. He is a mix of Asian and white. And he is from the 1940s. He has the ability of super speed. He was enrolled into a government project by his parents, who are poor immigrants, and cash money for it.
Like the old ways to sell your kids.
They were doing tests in time and space, and it was successful, and he got flown into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So,
is that when he gained his powers, or did he have his powers before that?
He actually had his powers before.
Okay.
And he kind of went back to where he was from originally in Fort Quads, and went his parents, they ran a bakery, and only person there is his older brother.
Is the bakery still around?
It is. His brother.
Where is it at in that quadrant? And do you guys live above it then or something?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What's the bakery's name? And if it's an ethnic name, that's fine. You can just tell me that it has kanji for a name or whatever.
Excellent bread shop. Buy here.
Baker the Baker.
Yeah, Baker the Baker, yeah. It was just Baker's, because that's their last name. Baker's Bread Shop.
I picture the sign being like a big baker's sign, and then underneath it just says bread shop.
Okay. Oh yeah, that works.
It's part of the name, but not really. It's actually just an explanation of what it is. It's under the sign. Everybody calls it Baker's Bread Shop.
Because you had people back in the 40s get confused and come to the bread shop for the automotive shop down the street, Baker's, auto.
No, the milk is down there. The milkman has the milk. We have the bread.
Backstory? Does that answer all your backstory stuff?
No.
Okay.
How is your future self the embodiment of a future you never wanted? And that he's a freeloader.
His future self is a freeloader?
Yeah. Kind of because he's shunned from doing anything else. The favorite part of the future life is that there's color TV. The least favorite part is that nobody's outside playing anymore because they're watching TV. And then determined to stay with the present team is to change the perception of himself, because he already has future self here that's already gave himself that name.
Do you have a different name for your future self? Or
future self's real name's the same, but his hero name is Greaseball Lightning.
Greaseball, all one word? Or
Yeah.
Greaseball?
No, Greaseball, one word. Like dirtbag Greaseball.
Did you mark what you know about your future self? To start.
That he injured an innocent. And that's kind of why he's named Greaseball.
Oh, so that's not a name you necessarily chose.
No, it was just
Lightning.
Lightning, and then it was added to Greaseball.
Okay.
Yeah. Happened in the 70s after that.
Mm.
That movie. You know what I'm talking about.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, yeah. Tom Cruise one.
Now we're going to do our when our team first came together question. Actually, you guys should probably do influence. Anybody that hasn't done influence in relationships with other members of the team.
Well, I already gave Jax a card for influence because the beacon always tries to make the delinquent do the right thing. It's like, fine, whatever.
There you go.
So you got all three of them to go, right?
No, it's according to whatever your influence section says on your second page. Yeah, it might have a question.
And it says all three, so alright.
Yeah, it says the three.
Okay.
So.
And it says I have to give all three away.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, alright.
Alright, there you go.
Neat. Cards.
What does yours say?
Oh, for you.
Influence. You just don't give it to anybody? Is that what yours said?
Yeah, no influence.
That's fine. So everybody did their influence part?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Relationships. Has everybody filled in all their relationship stuff? Mm-hmm. Okay. Who is what for you? What are your two? I remember your geek one.
Yeah, we teamed up a few times, and my mentor asked me to keep an eye on it.
Okay. That works out perfect. What about your relationship things?
Jasper is helping me understand future
me,
and I saved someone close to future me.
Oh, okay.
I guess it would be my brother.
Okay, we can do it that way. It's typically the relationships are with the other group members, but keep that idea though, because I like it. But also pick somebody else, like the actual group who you save someone close to, and they don't even have to know that it happened.
Okay.
Necessarily, that's something that can come up and play. I mean, you can say it out loud now. It's not a big deal. Their character doesn't have to know. That's entirely up to you and that person. Who is it?
Okay.
Okay.
Protege. The protege.
Who's close to you that you can think of besides the eagle? A tutor, anything?
Your mentor?
Yeah. I was pretty much alone. I've had a couple kids that I would cause mayhem with before I met up with him, but none of them were really close because we were all out there for survival.
Was there ever a rich girl from the other side of town that you just had a star-crossed relationship with? No, not that even.
Okay, we can have it be your mentor. Yeah. Are you guys aware of it? Are you aware that he did it? No? Okay. Did you have something for... Yeah, you with mentor said to keep an eye on him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking what happened was... let's come up with a villain for the eagle. Who's a big villain that the eagle fights a lot? I've got names if you want names.
I do want names.
What?
I do want names.
You want names?
T-Rex.
We have...
The Lone Shark. He's actually a shark.
Electrohead, Negasun, Matter Maven, Detritus, HK Ultra, the Engineer. Some of these names you guys will recognize. Invictus, Killshot, Marionette, Scream Queen, Terraform.
Let's go with Marionette. It's always good.
Alright, so, what I'm picturing is the eagle stepped into a trap with Marionette, was tangling with her minions, because she's always got groupies around her that she ends up having to fight. He lost sight of her. She actually was going to shoot him in the back of the head. You have super speed, you said? Mm-hmm. You used super speed to redirect the bullet so that it went off harmlessly. And you didn't even think that the eagle noticed, but he did. And then that was very close to when you came to the present.
Okay.
So he was one of the first people you met.
Encountered
in the present. Okay. I don't know if you know necessarily why he told you to look out for wheels, but the thing that I'm thinking is it was because he recognized who he was. Doesn't know the whole situation about what's happened and why he's here, but he's afraid of wheels going off the rails.
It says that he's cautious, so
yeah.
I thought maybe he was like knowing where his future turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. What are the two relationships you have? I remember you and...
Now, does it have to be someone on the team, or does it have to be someone else? Because if it has to be on the team, then obviously when it's Jax, because the beacon always has to inspire the delinquent.
Whatever the questions are, do you just have one, or do you have multiple?
Yeah, it says you keep trying to impress blank with your antics, and you and blank hold an awesome legal stunt. That's Hawk and I. So
okay, you can write his name in there, and then for the other one, who do you keep trying to
probably Jax.
Okay.
With the beacon, like I said, beacon as Jax keeps on trying to get him to do the right thing.
Yep. All right. That's the relationships there. You get your relationships, both of them? Are there? Okay. And then you got both of yours. Both of your relationships filled in?
Yeah, I've got two. So, Wheels is awesome. Take every chance you get to hang out with them. Says with them.
It's just them because it can be, your genders can be
right.
Whatever it has
and
listed.
It said before I feel like a real hero, I have to prove myself to be.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to use the restroom and then we'll get into the when our team first came together questions. Now, you guys have specific ones on your sheets, and there is a specific order that they need to be answered, but there are additional ones from the other playbooks that I'm going to ask. And I'm planning on going all the way through them to get a real good picture of how you guys all came together as a team.
Does yours actually say when our team first came together?
It says, when our team first came together, we totally broke some major rules to win the fight. What rules did we break, and whose rules were they?
Yeah, see, mine says we found signs that this incident was just the start of something bigger. What were the signs? It doesn't actually say what it was. I guess that's what he's going to tell us. Inspiration for the weekend. Doug Ramsey? Really? Just noticed that Doug Ramsey is a inspiration for the weekend.
There's actually a Doug Ramsey in X-Men, also known as Douglock, who has the power of super intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a computer.
I think the Ultimates line, they put him on Jeopardy and he won for like an entire year straight. So they put him into the Gifted Academy. Alright, so I took +1 at character creation to give me a natural 3 then. Of superior.
Okay.
And then I also took the Are You Watching Closely, which lets me roll superior when I'm trying to trick someone. And since my scheme is psychicry and illusions, I'm going to be tricking people left and right.
Powers. Oh, what did he pick? That's right, you guys should probably know each other's capabilities.
Yeah. Well, I gave them the gist of it was I can just wave my hand around someone's face and they kind of forget, and then.
Which one did you actually pick?
I took the psychic and illusions.
Okay.
So I can get into people's minds and make them think what I want them to think.
So your illusions are in other people's heads?
Well, basically it's overlapped. I can.
Okay.
So if I want to, I can make them in physical space and you'll see them, or if I want to make them super real, I can put them in your head and then you respond to them.
Okay.
Yeah. That usually requires a little bit of stealth, though.
Yours is
camouflage and stealth and acrobatic. This is camouflage and stealth.
Yeah.
And acrobatic.
Are those superpowers or
abilities? If you have superpowers, they're pretty minor. Not
I didn't know if that's what those were for you. Is it actually a superpower, or is it just an ability that? Okay, that's fine. Yours is just super speed. Is that the only thing? You only pick one, right?
Just one. Yeah, super speed.
What are your powers?
Telekinetics, telepathy, and detective skills.
Okay.
Our mentor's ability is weapons and gadgets.
Okay.
And detective skills.
Okay, when your team first came together, you defeated a dangerous enemy. Who or what was it?
Mine,
Giant spider robot.
mine has that my future self was involved in how we met, or how we became a team.
Okay.
So it could have been cool.
Do you want it to be him?
I have no problem with it being him. He is kind of a grease ball. And like he's kind of anti what the innocent is about.
The guilty.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like his whole theme is how to not become his future self.
You destroyed your surroundings in the fight. Where was it, and what did you destroy?
We might have maybe tore down one or two statues.
So where does that mean it took place?
Outside? Is it outside? Quad?
Should we put it in the Quad City area, like you said?
That's fine. Greaseball was trying to put up a statue of himself.
There you go.
Didn't trust each other at first, but that changed. How and why?
Basically, I thought you were a rich kid who had too much privilege. I didn't really care for that. See, you were always peppy and cheery. Didn't really like that either. And you were just, there. I mean, it's not really your fault, but screw you, dude. So how did we overcome that? And how to become my own devastating superiority?
Does Russ know that your future self is your future self?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that?
No, do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's up to you. It's up to all of you.
I mean, we know his
I mean, that could change the situation
We know
when
his
you're
name.
like, dude, he's me, I know me, so listen to me.
I mean, it could always be that he knows of him, like seen his face, but doesn't really know like that's actually him.
Yeah.
He's seen Greaseball around the bakery before.
Because you don't want that around the bakery.
So,
Fuck that.
so how did the trust issues change?
Common goal.
Yeah. We all work well together in that instance. We didn't disagree on the fact that he needed to be dealt with.
You saved the life of someone important, either to the city or to you guys. Who was it, and why are they important?
We saved the mayor.
That seems a little bit too cliche, though.
Yeah.
Let's say we save the TV news anchor who can be our mouthpiece.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Media working for us in this
Mhm.
superhero story. It's pretty good stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
What's the name of the TV anchor?
Dexter. Go with the last names I want. I got Dexter or Dex.
Dexter Rhodes.
Dex Rhodes.
He does the local traffic report.
Does he really?
That's awesome.
Maybe that's how he got his start, but he's moved up
Yeah, he's moving up to
to lead anchor.
to roving reporter on the scene.
Oh, I'm the scene reporter.
Yeah.
And who's the second person?
Oh, we saved two people?
No, just as someone important.
It's cameraman.
Yes. We need him.
How did you save his life? What was the situation? Because from what you've described of Greaseball so far, I don't think that he's a killer, so how would you have saved him?
Maybe we kind of saved him from accidentally killing him ourselves, because when we crumbled the statue, he might have been in the path of its destruction. I don't know.
He was in the area reporting on.
Mm-hmm. And so you swoop in with your super speed just as about to hit him and pull him out of the way.
How big was the statue?
20 feet high, maybe. With the pedestal, but the pedestal doesn't move.
So, the thing that you guys destroyed has to be important to the city, though. So a statue of Greaseball wouldn't be. So I'm thinking it has to be one of the other statues.
He was trying to replace that statue with one of himself.
You're trying to
Which
replace
one?
that statue? The
Adonis?
fifth one? Adonis?
Yeah.
Or one of the other.
Yeah.
All right, delinquent, ask your question.
Alright, now we kind of broke some rules when we were fighting. What did we do exactly? We had to have broken one or two. Whose rules were they? Are they rule of the street, or are they the man's rules, or what? Because, I mean, I totally have no problem with saying, like, after he was down and surrendered, we just, like, kneecapped him so that way he was out of action for a little while. Beating a, prisoner or something like that.
Using powers out of costume.
Well, I'm always out of costume because I don't wear a costume.
No.
What do you think, Hawk?
Usually my mentor wants me to be pretty prepared, and I just kind of rushed into the situation this time. So it's not like a larger
kind of like
societal rule, but like I let him down by getting into a fight that I might not have been able to handle.
Okay, that works for you. How would that work for the team?
I can basically say that I messed up his mind and now he's a schizophrenic. Like, I got in there with my psychic abilities.
Are you okay with that? It's your future self.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect you, technically. So.
Yeah, that's actually...
Not yet.
That's kind of how...
So is that the rule we broke? Is that we interfered with?
I'm going to say because you went in unprepared, the Eagle thinks that the team broke the rule of basically going too far. You don't fracture someone's psyche. You don't change who they are fundamentally. That's not the path to reforming, because it takes away the free will. And the eagle is the symbol of freedom. Yeah. Is he bald?
He's got a very good toupee.
He's got a helmet. So he's probably bald under it, because I mean, you wear a helmet all the time.
Or you can have all this white hair.
Toupee. It's worth millions of dollars. Can't find a good hairpiece.
That's really
Psyche fractured body cake. That's not going to come up later. Does he go by the Eagle or just Eagle?
It depends.
Okay. Did
We
Eagle
present
blame
you,
Eagle. Did he go far enough as to blame you, or is he just okay?
Did you end up as his whipping boy for the next couple of days?
It's like, I got in over my head, and you guys kind of had to, like, rescue me.
Eating taters and wearing no clothes. You paid a high cost for victory. What was it?
$1 million. The Adonis statue was broken, and a lot of rich people don't like us now.
But the public loves us.
Yeah.
Thanks to our mouthpiece.
I'm going to say Adonis doesn't like you either.
Adonis doesn't like us.
Especially if you want a second tier statue artist to redo the statue.
Oh.
I really want my design.
Mm-hmm. I can just imagine, like, what was it? In the movie Mystery Men, Greg
God.
Kinnear,
Yeah.
his character, like, he's like that, like, self-absorbed.
Captain Amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, you did well and impressed an established hero. Who was it? Now you've already ruled out the Eagle.
And Adonis.
And Greaseball. Oh, he's not technically a hero. We don't know what he is. So who did you guys impress?
The Phantom. Well, we can't technically use the Phantom because that's a different universe.
I do have hero names as well. Alright, you have Cosmic Synapse, A Stranger, Nova Bomb, Piano Man, and I had a Nighthawk, but that was a Batman-esque character I don't think I'm going to use.
So far, I like Piano Man because Billy Joel.
Oh, and Rorschade. I have my note for him is he's a dark mystic that uses a staff as a weapon.
I'm cool with it.
You guys all good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody making notes? Because I can tell you how to spell that. Okay.
I'm just going to call him Shade. Shade, yeah. Not to be used with Shades, the guy who wears these sunglasses and shoots lightning bolts. Different Shade, yeah.
Drew attention and ire from plenty during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears us. Who is it? I don't think Adonis fears you. So who would hate and fear you based on this?
Well, based on Greaseball's psyche being fractured, he would probably be in terrible fear. Anytime we come up on the TV screen, he's, having a fit.
Protege, ask your question.
For when our team first came
Yep.
together, we stuck together after all was said and done. Why? How did we keep in contact?
Taco Tuesdays.
We go to the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the quad.
Did you realize that during the fight? Do you guys all know each other's secret identities?
Probably, well, when we were in the fight, we probably figured out, oh, look, they can do that. But, like, we probably just saw somebody on the way to math class or something. And, oh, I know that guy. Like, oh, wow.
I mean, obviously it would be easy.
Yeah.
What are your guys' costumes look like? Not to get on a side tangent, but do you guys...
I'm
do you
always
have
in my
masks?
tracksuit.
So, I mean...
Yeah, it looks like a hawk.
Mine was sort of a zip-up jacket, and, she's a girl, but she's kind of dressed like a boy. So it's just all very, like dark muted colors, just like a zip-up.
Classic hoodie zip-up? Or
No.
windbreaker?
Hoodies like capes, no capes,
Okay.
So no hood because I can get
No capes, is that a rule?
Yeah.
Should be
Oh.
Oh, the capes.
in the mold. No capes.
Does that mean that Wheels has a cape?
No, it's my.
When did
my
that
personal,
rule come around?
It's my personal rule. No capes. Capes are dangerous, man.
And just look at Dollar Bill. Got it caught in a revolving door, got shot for it.
That's right. So when you're doing acrobatics, like, you flop and it just doesn't work.
That's true.
Of course, you do make the jackets with the roll.
What, like the Letterman jackets that, just flip back and you just...
Right. So convenient. You can't put them back the same way. That's okay. Yeah, just some
So the
stretchy.
Just balaclava.
does
Yeah.
Jax have a mask?
Dex doesn't have a mask yet. Hasn't thought that she needed one because she's pretty stuffy.
So you guys basically, you would have seen each other.
Yeah.
Because Wheels have a mask.
No max, just like
Goggles.
ninja robe,
Okay.
like going ancestor roots.
Okay. Does everybody know who you are? Because you're the only one that has a mask. So they don't know who you are. So how did you keep in touch with the team? Are you the primary person that...
Yeah, whenever we're doing
contact
superhero
people?
stuff, I'll use my telepathy to, send them on mine. That's it, but
Okay. So you were probably the linchpin for what kept the group together after this fight. How do you and Deke, how does he not know who you are? Does he just think that Marshall is some delinquent with him? And that Hawk is the hero, so they're completely separate. Yeah. Just want to make sure you're aware of
that's
that.
cool.
So when we're having
When I see Marshall, it's like, hey, what's up, man? Wanna go set fire?
Beacon, you have a question that we haven't answered yet.
Yeah. We found signs that this incident was just the start of something bigger. What were the signs?
In Greaseball's schizophrenic state, he starts mentioning an other force whom he now seems to have been following his instructions for. How about that?
Okay. It won't be the last of me.
Yeah, I think some of our, hijinks can be, because I like to hustle people, 3-card Monty, make them see things. But if we're playing pool or playing dice, you and I would team up and I could make them see the ball was actually in a slightly different place. And when I don't feel like doing it, you can just alter the trajectory with your telekinesis. Yeah. So basically we just hustled everyone we could and made, pocket money and spent it on, just junk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you think I afford an entire, closet full of tracksuits? I mean, those aren't cheap. I have to have different colors because you don't want to wear the same thing twice. And occasionally, a silver chain or something like that. Because gold's just a little bit too, on the nose.
Oh, gangster.
Mm-hmm. And a Kanga hat. Sometimes, yeah.
Basically, he looks like a 1980s hip hop star.
Oh no.
That's when
Vanilla
he's
Ice,
wearing when he's wearing the Kanga hat. That's what he ends up looking like.
Vanilla Ice.
Okay, so we've already answered your question. So now I have additional questions that were just things that I wanted to know. So since you guys have come together, how often do you team up? Have you teamed up since this incident? And how long ago was this incident?
Yeah.
Let's see. Senior year for the two of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that happened sophomore year or junior.
More junior.
I would like it to be a little, more recent.
Alright, so junior year, since that would make you a freshman.
Beginning of senior year?
Yeah.
So you guys have basically probably had a summer,
Mm-hmm.
roughly. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys patrol together at all, or do you do your own thing and call each other in times of need?
So we patrol. I like our hangouts a little bit more regular.
I was patrolling by myself.
What area do we patrol? And are we or do we walk the side of the streets publicly, hey citizens, how are you? Or are we basically just kind of slinked around more at night?
Well, mine has to kind of be at night because,
And I have,
school.
academic Super Bowl after school, so.
So yeah, more at night, but more just change or out for a walk or something. Not doing it stealthy unless I really need to get a closer look at something or if I see something.
What about you two?
Anytime.
Are you a rooftop creeper, or do you tend to patrol in your marshal and then
It depends on what the situation calls for.
jump in the phone booth?
I pretty much always got my costume with me.
Okay.
And a backpack, and you just hit the little side strap, and then it covers your body.
What about Wheels?
Just up and down the street.
Running around fast?
Yeah. Scouting.
Are you going to the school with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting conversation.
Where's your birth certificate?
Well, long story. I'm from a long ways off.
Let's say his brother from the bakery knows some.
Adopted him?
Knows some people from the neighborhood, and he got adopted from one of the family neighbors.
Yeah, that's good. So his brother's older, 70 something.
Yeah, but he's really young. He's actually the younger brother.
Oh,
gosh. But he's older.
Wow.
Do you guys just wander around everywhere? Or do you primarily stay in these two areas? Or do you roam wherever?
Yeah, we stay in
I feel like we stay in the area,
We know our place. We're not ready for the prime time gigs. I can just imagine I run into some petty criminals, and I basically use the psychic, imaging to basically give them the image oh, hey, I've got 5 dudes with me. I don't think you really want to, mess with it. It's alright, we'll just leave the shit here. And then I just take 2% off the top and then return the rest. Yeah.
Moves. I'm going to run through these real quick.
Not moves. Talking about that teenage.
So, your basic moves are directly engage a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Directly engaging the threat. When you directly engage a threat, roll plus danger. On a hit, trade blows. On a 10+, pick 2. On a 7-9, pick 1. Resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for your allies. Impress, surprise, or frighten. Unleash your powers. Now, keep in mind, adult moves are wield your powers. This is unleash your powers, so you're not fully in control of your powers at all times. To replicate that, when you unleash your powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses, roll plus freak. On a hit, you do it. On a 7 to 9, you mark a condition, or I'll tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary. Comfort or support. When you comfort or support someone, roll plus mundane. On a hit, they hear you, they mark potential, clear a condition, or shift labels if they open up to you. On a 10+, you can also add a team to the pool. I'll explain the team pool in a moment. Or clear a condition yourself. Pierce the mask. When you pierce someone's mask to see the person beneath, roll plus mundane. On a 10+, ask 3. On a 7-9, ask 1. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? How could I gain influence over you? Defend. When you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll plus savior. For NPC threats, on a hit, you keep them safe and choose one. On a 7-9, it costs you, expose yourself to danger, or escalate the situation. And then your options for choosing one. You add a team to the pool, take influence over someone that you protect, or clear a condition. For PC threats, you guys can get in fights with one another. I'm not anticipating that happening a ton, and I would prefer that it don't, but it can. On a hit, give them -2 to their roll, is what you can do for PC threats. And on a 7 to 9, you expose yourself to cost, retribution, or judgment. Assess the situation. When you assess the situation, roll plus superior. On a 10 plus, ask 2. On a 7-9, ask 1. Take +1 while acting on the answers. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly? Provoke someone. When you provoke someone susceptible to your words, now notice that's very different from the adult move, which is persuade with best interests. Obviously, as a younger hero and a younger person, you're more inclined to push people's buttons than to actually try to tell them, hey, I think it would be better if you did such and such for you. This is more like, I want you to do this, and I know that if I say the right thing about the right situation or the right character, you'll do it. It's kind of more manipulative. Say what you're trying to get them to do and roll plus superior. For NPCs, on a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. On a 7-9, they can instead choose 1. They stumble, you take +1 forward against them. They err, you gain a critical opportunity. They overreact, you gain influence over them. For PCs, on a 10 plus both. On a 7-9, choose 1. If they do it, add a team to the pool. If they don't do it, they mark a condition. And finally, take a powerful blow. When you take a powerful blow, roll plus conditions marked. On a 10 plus, choose 1. You must remove yourself from the situation. You lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way. Or 2 options from the 7-9 list. On a 7-9, choose 1. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity. You struggle past the pain, mark 2 conditions. On a miss, you stand strong. Mark potential as normal and say how you weathered the blow. So, take a powerful blow is the only one that goes in reverse. Missing is good on that one because you get potential in addition to nothing happens. That's really negative in the story.
Yeah, you pull the Morgan from Chuck. I don't know if you remember the movie does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what the Morgan is. When Morgan's about to be hit, he goes like this, and he just stands still, just taking a blow. And that has actually thrown off like 2 of like the super spies who were like, wait, he's doing what? And then they miss. Whereas regular people in the schoolyard just beat him.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Green Hill Gamer Guild podcast. If you'd like to find more information out about the guild, go to greenhillgamerguild.com, where you can find all kinds of information about us and current and past episodes. If you like what we've done, give us a review and click subscribe. Thank you, and we hope you have a wonderful day.